Hello, Starknet family. Welcome back to the Star Cafe. I'm Nurstar, your personal Star barista, and once again, we are ready to serve you with some very special Starknet content. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the cafe. Let's start, the first cafe of the week with the right mood. And today we are going to speak about on-chain gaming and dynamic NFTs. And yeah, really excited about the coming episodes. And we in the last week, in the previous week, we had the Starkness Summit and also a very interesting hacker house during such events. And the vibes were great, as much as I understood. And well, today we are speaking about Islands, which is a game that experiments a lot with both dynamic NFTs and on-chain gaming. And we are going to listen about this interesting project from the words of John, who's their co-founder, their founder, sorry. And so let's give him a warm welcome. Hello, John. Welcome to the Star Cafe. How are you?
Hello, hi, good to know. Hello, everyone. My name is John, and I'm actually a co-founder of the island or this land, if you want to call it. So, very happy to be here with you, No Star.
Great. I'm very happy as well. And John, I met you during the Starkness CC in person, and I immediately understood that you're a very talented person and developer, and you've been building on Starknet for a relatively short time. So I think that most people don't know you very well yet. And let's take advantage of this Star Cafe to know more about yourself. So, would you mind giving us a short background about yourself and also your pre-crypto journey and also your obviously your crypto story as well?
Yeah,
The floor is yours.
yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to share a little bit mistake from when we met because I haven't introduced you quite clearly. Well, I'm John, and I have been in this space for like since 2019, working as just a researcher and like marketing, and then searching for project and for building a community in our own country. And me myself, I wouldn't say I'm a more like a developer. I'm more like a builder, building a project, and I work in business aspect. And for my past experience, we have built several community in our own country, starting from organic researching about crypto when it was like not well known as it's right now. And the last one, we also do, a guild about GameFi where we have like, let's say 100, 200 players who are playing game for us. So basically I have been evolving around that. And then now I decided how it's time for me to build an actual project, not just like, researching around it. And I think it's time. So I make friends with a lot of good friend, partner. Here joining us is Rick. He's our developer, and he's self-taught. He learned Cairo in just like very short amount of time, like 3 or 4 months, and then he's now like our master dev. So a shout out for Rick, who is listening today also.
Very good, John. I'm very happy also to know that we share the same year of entrance into the crypto space. I also began my Web3 journey in 2019. And thanks a lot for clarifying about the fact that you're more into the business side of things. But yeah, that's very welcoming because we definitely need skillful people in those verticals as well. And well, you were talking about like being very active in your country. What country are we speaking about? Is it Vietnam?
Yes. So basically, my origin, I'm from Vietnam, but I have been living in Finland for like 6, 7 years. So I have my own business there, and I studied there for like 6 years. But now, since I decided it's time for me to move back and do the project and build the project in our own market. So now currently I'm in Vietnam, and most of our team are also in Vietnam also. And we are planning to also build up our project that is based in Vietnam.
That's a very inspiring story. I suppose that it's always great to go back to your home place, and also putting in practice all the things that you studied and learned during your time abroad. And I'm very glad that you went back to Vietnam, also to bring your experience back to your country, and that's very cute. And John, what about going a bit deeper into the Dylance or Dylance project? Could you also clarify about the pronunciation? And yeah, tell us a bit more about it, how it started, the idea behind it, and and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because like when I was in Starknet CC, I was also confused when I introduced the project name with people. I don't know what to call it because we when we think about the name, we think it's cool to put the this explanation mark in between. But now I have like think about it before this, and you can call our project D Island or this land if you want to. So that's how we call it. And so about the project, we are building an autonomous open world that on Starknet that we try to utilize dynamic NFT as our core foundation for the game, because we think that the flexibility in changing metadata of dynamic NFT will allow us to explore and experiment different gameplays and game system so that it can bring in more opportunity to be creative. So a little bit about the game concept, right? So the game concept is that this land world is created by different islands in which you can do different activities, or even you can play different games depending on the type of that island. And then from that, each single individual island will divide it into two different types. Now you have dynamic island or you have normal island. So with the dynamic island, we have like 4 different seasons, just like the nature. So you have spring, you have summer, you have winter, you have fall, and it can be changed over time or based on a preset of condition. And based on that, each season change will have the possibility and the opportunities for you to bring in different items, different in-game material, or even different mini game that associate with that seasons. So this kind of like flexibility from dynamic NFT allow us to bring in different ideas and open room for a lot of creativity for the game ecosystem. So yeah, that is what the Islands is about, and what is that idea behind.
Awesome, John. That's very interesting. And actually, I've been reading about your project in your Medium website. There you posted a lot of very interesting articles about Dylan's. And I also posted the link to your Medium page below this page for those who would like to dive deeper about the project. And I noticed that there's a lot of creativity involved, and also the storytelling is pretty attractive, to gamers. So I'm really excited to see all these ideas being put in practice on the gaming side. And but before proceeding with the next question, I would love to thank some of the listeners that have taken some of their very precious time to be with us at the Stark Cafe today, such as Stark Africa as well. We are going to hold a Stark an African party at the Stark Cafe next Friday, where we are going to host them and their local, their regional communities to talk about the great job that they're doing in Africa. So stay tuned for Friday. And also a big hug goes to Exodus, Rick, Nerd, Kay, Zoisma, M15, Baby Angel, Julian Per, Rice, Ermin, True, Superdog, Justin, Memelo, Lydia, Lingen, Nicole, Candace, Daniel, Edilan, Ten, and all the others. Thanks a lot for being here. And going back to our question, John.
Yes.
In those articles that we can find on the Medium page, I also read a lot about the dream and the vision that you have at Islands. Could you elaborate a bit more on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when we start this one, we always, our motto to live by when we think about when we build a game is no one left behind. So we want to build a game that is not just fun to play. There's no limitation or barriers to be creative, but it also has these equal opportunities for everyone. So what this means is like, because we have been living through the peak time of GameFi, right? When you see the success of Step-N or Axie Infinity, one of the problem is that the entry fee for a single player to join the game is so really high. It's like can be up to like 500 USDT for to play a Axie Infinity or Step-N when it was in its peak. So I think that it's unfair because like now the game shift to like pay to win, or and then it kill the chance, it kill the fun for everybody. So we think that gaming should be equal, and gaming should be a creating world so that everyone have the opportunity to strive and to be success, because life itself is hard, right? You come into game to find your dream, and then now you also face the challenge that gaming is so hard, and that is not what we want to do. So that's our dream. That's what we want to be with this lab world. And a little bit about how we do it is that to do so, we have carefully built a system that we call class of players within this land world, so that everyone can join without paying too much, right? So now you have three-man class. You have Island Lord who own Island NFT, and this is for people with money they are willing to pay. But you have ship owner who own ship NFT, which can be crafted within the game by using the in-game material. And then the last one is citizen class, who does not need anything to participate in the game beside wallet and curiosity. So with these three classes, you can choose. If you want to involve more in the game, you pay money. But if you just want to experience, you just be a citizen and experience it out and decided whether the game is worth to stay or not. But the good thing about this system is that we have carefully designed so that all the activities within the game ecosystem always revolve around these three classes. So it's kind of like an interconnected relationship between the three, right? So if even if you have money and you are a mighty landlord, you still need citizen, or you still need a ship owner to help you within the game. And if you are a citizen, if you don't have too much money to pay for, you can just spend time, collect, accumulate in-game items, and slowly strive through within our game to, one day become an island owner, right? So every player now play an important role within our world, and no one left behind. So that's the idea. That's the dream.
Awesome. I really like the vision of the game, and the fact that you want to help everybody become a part of the game, whether the users have more economic bandwidth or less. And obviously that's a key in order to attract as many adopters as possible. And obviously, and also it is also due, to the fact that living costs are different from region to regions. So obviously, you have to make the game available for everybody from all over the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add something more on that point.
Yeah, because you were saying that about the living cost is different from for everybody in different countries. I think this is really true, because like my base is in Vietnam, and I understand that $500 in Vietnam is completely different amount with $500 in Europe or in the US, right? So, but now with crypto, you use USDT. So I think it's just like with the game, you cannot just be so expensive, because you want mass adoption, you want to gain attraction from users, and then so that's I think this is like, you understand my point. So really, really nice that you understand that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really agree with what you said. And yeah, I agree that like $500 can play a big role in like in Vietnam, but like in Europe, it gets you maybe for a week.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
like that.
true, something like
So,
that.
yeah, but yeah, having said that, you said that, I mean, seeing that you are, a builder and somebody with a very solid business experience and studies, you when you decided to begin building on the web3 space, you must have sat on a table, and you must have started thinking about which verticals to build a project on. So you must have taken into considerations fields such as DeFi, building an AMM or a lending protocol, or more NFT collection stuff, or marketplaces, stuff like that, and as well gaming. And as far as we saw, you decided to build a game. Therefore, I wanted to ask you the motivations that brought you to choose this primitive over other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting question. Well, I think there's emotional reason and a logic reason behind this. So for emotional reason, I think I just love gaming. All of our team has been gamer for like since they were born, I would say. So we just love to do gaming and game. We already bias gaming, but for the logic reason, I think gaming has been around for centuries. And if you look back history, it has been proven that even the Roman or the Greek ancients, they have created game to entertain themselves, right? So it's apparent that gaming is something that is inevitable for human life and human society. And the only difference is that game evolve over time with technology advantages and human creativity. So even though that our team have many options to build, like we can build DeFi app, we can build infrastructure app, or we can build just a normal NFT or collection. We decided gaming is a more suitable approach that has this huge potential for mass adoption, because first of all, gaming is easy to access, and then if you do it in the right way, it can be really attractive and addictive, and it doesn't care if the user are familiar with Web3 or new to it. Gaming is still something that make people curious. And also another factor is that I think gaming has this tendency to create this loyal and bond community, and community is what it's all about with Web3 project, right? Even if you see with traditional Web2 gaming, you still see strong loyal community of games like StarCraft, like Diablo, like Roblox. They are still actively online and building and evolving and creating exciting stuff and content for the game itself. So with the advantages of Web3 project that is like open source and community driven, we believe that if you build a successful on-chain game with fun gameplay and loyal community, it will certainly make a big difference for the space in the long term. So that's the reason why I think gaming is very difficult to build game, to be honest, because it takes a lot of skill and effort, but I think it's worth a try. That's the reason.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And gaming is also a field where you need a lot of different roles to make the project successful. And as I saw, as you said, you're also you also have a very talented developer and other developers that are experimenting and learning about Cairo. And but when you build a game, it goes beyond that as well, right? It
Yeah.
also goes beyond smart contracts. You need to focus on design. Design plays an essential role in gaming. Therefore, taking advantage of this context, I would like to ask you a bit more about your team. How is it structured, and what roles do they cover?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a very small team, to be honest. We are a very small team, but we are a solid team. So currently at the moment we have like 5 people working on this project voluntarily, because this is one of our passion. And the great thing about this is that all of us come from different background, right? So we have Rick here who joined us, who is a talented self-taught dev. He taught himself to be, good at Carol and all the stuff like doing contract and web and Unity in just like a short amount of time, like less than a year. And we have a master game designer who designed our ecosystem and gameplay, who is the nerd here who joined this listening. And we have a guy who helped us to build relationship and community in our own market, because I'm from Finland. When I come back, I don't have any connection and relationship, so he helped us to build that. Myself, I work as just a general business person who give approach and planning and checking everything in general. And especially we have a OG Web3 advisor who now prefer to stay secret in silent, but he has been around this space since 2015. It's very old, and his knowledge and his experience is super and really helpful to us, because he really understands the market and really understand how a project direction and planning, and he is the person who keep us in place. So I want to shout out for him, even though he's staying secret. So, and I think with this team, we can have a lot of different opinion, different perspective to approach a project, not just on the dev side, but on the business side and on the community side. And I think it's make us a perfect team, not a perfect team, but the more suitable team, for this project. And it's an honor for me to have a chance to work with them. So a big shout out for one of our teammates.
Very good. I think that 5 members is a good beginning, and then I'm sure that you'll work out some kind of contributors model to to help you build faster. And very excited about the future of these lands. And before moving to the last question of on my side, I wanted to invite the listeners to feel free to send us the request to speak in case you want to ask John for some questions. I also see some more friends joining in, such as Stark Sport, Alexei, and somebody else as well. And so, having said that, John, tell us a bit about the roadmap of these lands. What can we expect from your project in the coming months, and also more or less when will we be able to play a bit with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you guys has been like wondering what is our development progress, because so far it's on about story and stuff. Well, currently we are building our first 2 gameplay demo, and one of them are built using Dojo engine to build. And so we, as our plan, in 2.5 months, you guys will have chance to play the first demo of the first game. The second game, we are still experimenting on it, but the first game will be based on dynamic NFT and on the season chain that I mentioned earlier. And we hope that Rick is working hard for that one. Otherwise, we're going to push him to work for it. But the roadmap is in 2.5 months, we will roll out the first demo and testing out using community feedback to fix any problem that happened. At the same time, this week we will soon roll out our Discord server, and then to build the community and preparing for the launch of the game. And a little side project that we're also building. I will keep it secret before we roll it out, but this is a side project from this lab team that help us to build a strong develop a community in our own country, because I think Rick along himself having too much work, and the amount of Cairo dev in Vietnam is not so much. So we hope that with this side project we can help building a more stronger Starknet community in our own country. So that's basically what is our development progress. We hope in 2.5 months or end of this year, we will be able to roll out the first demo and you guys can start to explore this land world.
That sounds great. So we are going to be able to play with a demo version of the game, hopefully by the end of the year. That's very good. And yeah, it's also nice that you mentioned Dojo, which was something that I wanted to ask you about. You know, how are you playing with Dojo? What are your first impressions in building with it?
Dojo is an amazing team. They are a very strong team. They have building a really good engine for us. And I think using Dojo is very easy to build. So I'm not on the dev side, but when I talked with Rick about it, he said that when he built his second game on Dojo, it's much more easier for him because he don't have to do it from scratch. So I think if you have this kind of infrastructure that help you build faster, why not take advantage of it, right? So I think using Dojo is a smart move for us. And one of our plan, I suppose not, I should not discuss this, but I think this is one of our idea for the land, is that one of our ideas that we will have community island in which will open the door for dev community to build a game on it itself, and it will be used Dojo engine. We encourage them to build Dojo engine for it, right? So that one is our plan for this our open world. So I think that's a great idea. We are working on it, discussing about it, and this is a sneak peek for you guys. But Dojo engine is really great. I highly recommend you guys to build on it if you want to build a game.
That's great, John. Thanks a lot for the spoiler as well. And and I mean, it's also very promising that you're also have in mind. You also have in mind to build, your own community. Developers incubator in order to help more Vietnamese talented people and developers learn about the Cairo programming language and the Starknet infrastructure. And it was also very interesting to see your point of view regarding Dojo, which is is going to be used by a lot of developers, and we're already seeing some kind of demos coming out, such as the fun experimentation about the fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, where basically there's another team that developed this kind of demo where these two famous personalities fight in the game, and it's all on chain on Starknet, currently on testnet, where you basically have these guys fighting on the Starknet scaling solution. And so I think we'll see some more examples like this, and I really look forward to seeing your vision and your dreams being put in practice into this lands game. The last thing, John. So if I've understood right, the first part, the first demo that we will be playing with within the end of the year is more like focused on the dynamic NFTs points, and then during the new year, the next year, we'll be seeing another part of the game being developed on Dojo. Is that right?
So the reason is I think the first game is we build is based on dynamic NFT because it's our core foundation. It's a very simple game, but the point is like we want to build the first game so easy to play is that we want to people get to know what the hell is dynamic NFT, right? Because with tech people or with people who are familiar with Web3 and who has been staying around, dynamic NFT is not news. It has been around for like a year or so or more. But for new users, they will like question what is dynamic NFT? What is so special about it, right? But I think that the first game will be just very simple but fun also, of course. But it helps people to understand how dynamic NFT works. and then move to the second game. We build on Dojo just to experiment, but also it also based on an island and using dynamic NFT also. So for example, let me give you an example, right? So like I said before, you have an island with different season, like spring, summer, fall, and winter, and you can change it based on a preset of condition or based on over time, right? So so now if you build a first game, each season when it change, it can bring in like different items or different in-game material. But for the second game, if we build like a fighting game or a TFC game, if spring can bring different, can give a stronger monster than fall, for example, and then in summer, the monster from winter can be like weaker than other thing. So the dynamic NFT will be the core foundation for our creativity, for the way we try to like build up the game itself. So it's so yeah, that's the reason why dynamic NFT is so important. It's the core foundation for our project.
Fair enough. Yeah, I see your point, and I think that dynamic NFTs are also a good way to involve the community, and also early supporters of the game, where you can also list some of those dynamic NFTs and and fund the game with that. So it's that's perfectly fine, and well. I learned a lot about Dislands and about yourself as well, John, and the whole Dislands team. I had an amazing time, learned a lot about your project, and I really wish you all the best, and also to you and to the whole Vietnamese Starknet community. Thanks a lot once again, first of all, to all the listeners, Stark Sport, Starknet China, Starknet Africa, Exodus, Alexei from Starknetics, Rick, Nerd, Kay, So Is My Project 3, Baby Angel, Julian Per, New, Rice, Superdog, Martin, Justin, Onches, Meme, Lydia, again, Katy, Nicole, Tan, Hediland, Daniel, and all the others. Thanks a lot for coming to the Star Cafe. And secondly, thanks a lot to John for coming today. You've been an amazing guest, and you did an amazing job. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me. I was a little bit nervous, but thank you a lot. Thank you for joining, and please follow us, follow D-Land Progress, because we will make sure that everything is going to be fun and exciting. Thank you.
Thanks, John. You did great, and really looking forward to hosting you again at the Star Cafe in the near future. And so, guys, it's time to close the Star Cafe. Thanks a lot once again, and remember to share the Starknet vibe, and see you the next time. Bye, guys. Take care.